Hey y'all. Oh, there you go. Thank you for that. That was nice of you. I've been wanting to catch the geese when they come running with their wings just flailing. They can't really get off the ground. Domestic geese, let me show you them. They're napping. I'll try not to talk when I've got the extension or the view increase or whatever it's called, because I know that muffles the sound. But today I wanted to tell you some of my new and old ideas combined. Now, I know some of y'all have been asking about Aaron, and when is he coming back home and those sorts of things. Not for a while. I don't know, some of you maybe you haven't been paying attention to his channel. He doesn't put his videos out very often. But Aaron is in a very nice location right now because he is living atop a great big shop that has the wood turning equipment, lots of woodworking equipment, and the older man that owns that building lives in a house on the same property, and he is a wood turning expert. I'm walking carefully because it's really muddy. You can see he's brought some wood chips over here to kind of help with this. But anyway, and then on top of that, Aaron is also working for a master woodworker that's part of a crafting guild here in the Asheville area. That's a very exclusive crafting guild. It's hard. You have to be an excellent artisan in order to get in there. All right, but just wanted to give you some new and old ideas, things that are happening. There's that stump that Hugh got out of the land bridge the other day, and he brought some dirt in, got it fixed. I don't think we're having any leaks right now, so that's very good. And this is my greenhouse frame. I'll show you where it's getting ready to go and be put back together and reinforced, and all of the things that have to be done to it before it can have the plastic put on it. But I wanted to tell you what's happening back here. Aaron, when he does decide to come back, he will be building for himself a little studio gallery down here on the other side of the barn. There's a little overhang area that faces the road and has parking in front of it, and so it's going to have to be totally built. Yeah, it's going to be a big job, but it will be a perfect place for him to put his turning machines, his woodworking equipment, and actually have a working studio gallery. And we'll be able to invite people in to watch him turn, and he will be able to sell directly out of that. And we are so glad that he's finding, it's been a hard couple of years for him, year and a half, actually a couple of years. And so we are so glad that he is finding something that just has his heart singing. It's just it just has him in a good place right now. And so we do not want him to leave that area and come back home until he has learned all he can from these two men. One of them is in his 80s, one of them is in his 70s, and he's actually going to be going to some of the shows where the older man, he and his wife, sell their artwork, their bowls, and he has the opportunity to learn the business end from them. And what a blessing, because to me, the business end of an art adventure is the toughest part. Now, when he does come home, he will probably be using something or living in something that will be temporary so that he can build himself a nice little log cabin. He's talked about doing that for years, or building himself something, because Hugh and I are getting ready to spread out in this big house and take up all the space. And I've already told Aaron all this, so he is absolutely good with it. I don't think that he intended to move back into the old house with us anyway. I think that he's wanting to just have his own space. I totally understand that. So let me tell you what's going on. This area back here, you've seen the inside of it. I won't take you in right now. That's Aiden's living back there right now. But in this back side, there's a large living room, a large bedroom, and a bathroom. And then that little piece that juts out, that's just kind of, at one point, that was Hugh's bedroom. And it was a teeny tiny little bedroom, but it had windows all the way around, so it wasn't too bad. Hugh and Aaron added the door, and eventually there will be a porch. And that little area will actually just be a little entryway area where we can hang jackets and use as a mud room. And it will also give us a nice area where we can put dog beds, and I won't have those underfoot. Hugh and I, we have all of our doggies. We have 6 in our end, and there's 2 that live back here, and you've met Moxley and Panda. Well, Panda belongs to Aiden, and Moxley belongs to Aaron. Aiden is going to be leaving to go to school down in Georgia this summer, and he's going into a 4-year, I'm not sure, some kind of mathematical program. He's a mathematical genius. I don't understand that. He didn't get it from me. That's for sure. But he loves numbers. He loves working with numbers. So he will be going into some kind of a number-related field, and he's talking about actually living overseas for a while. He's going to be going to Europe in May, specifically to the Netherlands. He has a friend there, and he's going to the Netherlands, and they're going to just do a road trip for a couple of weeks, mostly by train. And he is looking so forward to that, y'all. It just cracks me up. I love to talk to him about it because he's just so excited. He has applied for his all right, help me out here. You know what he has to have in order to travel overseas. But anyway, he's applied for that, and it should be coming pretty soon, and then he can make his plane reservations. But yay. Aiden is finally resolved what he wants to do, and I never really expected that he would stay here on this little farm. It's just not the Aiden thing. I told him he better promise to visit often or I would come and visit him, and he really just doesn't want me to do that. No, he didn't say that. I'm just being a yaya. But so that's what's happening. That end of the house will be where Hugh and I moved to for several reasons. Partly because, like I said, the rooms are so much bigger. Our little bedroom right now will barely hold a bedroom suit. And the living area, you've seen the living area with us and all the doggies in there, how congested it is, how tiny it is. It's really tough. You have to step over dogs. That big area back there will give us lots of floor space. So even if the dogs stay with us, instead of in that little alcove on their beds, they will not be a trip hazard. I kind of like the idea of being back there where we can have that big porch and overlook that little field with the big barn. And I'll tell you why that's important to me in just a moment. But it's all coming together. It's working out the way that it should. And we do look forward to having Aaron home at some point in the not too distant future. I don't think it'll be within the next few years. I think he'll be moving home, and he's talked about building a home up there at the top of that field, which would be a beautiful location, or where the old barn's at. The old barn is not savable. It's getting to the point where it's actually maybe not too close to failure, but not too far away from that either. So the old barn will be coming down. I'm going to take lots of pictures, and I'm going to do paintings of it. And so it's going to be in our memories always. But that will be a lovely place for a home as well. So that's the two locations that he's talked about possibly building. And so down here, oh, let me go back to what I was talking about originally. So when you come up our steps, hey bud, there's Aiden Connor. Huh?
I said it's going to be loud in a second.
Okay, that's all right. Aiden's getting ready to work on his Jeep. He says it's going to be loud in a second. Okay, so you can see this is all to pieces right here. The steps have had part of their rocks bust loose over time, and so we're just going to pop all that loose. You can see they're solid cement block. So we just need to pop the rock loose. And when you come up on, yep, he's loud. When you come up on this porch, you can see also that the tile has busted all to pieces over the years. And this is where my little planting shelf is. I haven't been able to work on the last few days, but this is where I'll be growing all of my garden plants this year. But at some point, this will all be gone, all be cleaned off. Right there's the door that goes into the main room of our house. Let me see if I can open it up, keep doggies from yelling at us. I'll see the back of Huey's head. There's Huey's head. But see, this is the main room of our house, or the main room of where Hugh and I live. But no, I'm making a video. I'll be finished in a minute. And then just to the left of that room is our bedroom. So our bedroom and this main room, wait for it. I'm so excited about this. I can't hardly stand it. Wait for it. Is going to become my studio gallery. Yes, right here. I'm going to rejoin Haywood Arts Council. I haven't been a part of that since before Jared passed. But I will have an opportunity for people to come straight through my front door into my working studio and gallery. And I will have my artwork. That's all that's going to be in there, ladies and guys, is my artwork hanging on the walls. I'll probably have some of Erin's bowls. I may have some Chelsea's Crafty. Also, she makes beautiful art journals out of leather and metal. I'll probably have some of those things. And so, yeah, I am definitely going to be set up to sell my artwork and to work on my artwork right there. I'm very excited about that. I've never had an opportunity to actually do that here. So that's going to work out lovely. Okay, now let's go back to the other thing. We have so many ideas going on here, and some of them are ideas that were original ideas and they got put on the back burner for whatever reason, or got rerouted for whatever reason, got changed. But some of them are finally coming to fruition. This field is where we grew last year. See a piece of chicken wire here. All right. As you can see, Hugh has it just sown down in different grains because the cattle will be grazing in here this year. Over there's the frame I was showing you a few moments ago. But this room, or this field, will actually, it's going to be turned back into a cut flower field this fall. I'm going to start with Hardy Annuals. There'll be those that are that will survive the winters in our zone. They're going. Our beds will be built, and so there will be. This will be a cut flower farm after all. The reason I came to that decision is because Chelsea is going to join me as a farming partner, and the two of us are going to run this cut flower venture. We're also, if you see across the road, back in her woods, she has purchased for us a class down at Mushroom Mountain down in South Carolina in April. We're going to go and take the class on growing mushrooms, and in which, you know, that wooded area over there is perfect. It's a perfect climate for a lot of types of mushrooms. But also in the old barn, that middle section, there's like 4 big horse stalls in there that are in the center of the barn. So they're dark, they've got a dirt floor, and right now they just have car parts and such, tractor parts and things like that in them. But that will be changing, because I'm certain that there's going to be mushrooms that will work well in that type of a climate. So Hugh's giving me this field back after this summer. The cattle will be grazing this, and then Chelsea and I will be doing the mushrooms, and the greenhouse is going to be mostly for the nursery. So I am in the process of taking some classes online on propagating plants. I've been learning a little bit off and on over the years, but I'm trying to get more intentional about it. But the greenhouse will go right behind Jared's Jeep or Aiden's Jeep over there. On the other side of that fence, it will be going right there, down close to the driveway, so that at some point, it takes about 3 years before you really have anything that's sellable. You have to propagate your plants, and then you have to give them time to get some size. But after 3 years, we'll have the greenhouse ready to sell the little plants right out of. But the reason that we have came back around to growing the flowers, if you remember last spring, I had COVID, and I also tore a muscle in my calf, so I was kind of crippled, and Aaron took care of a lot of things that I couldn't take care of last spring. And so when he moved away, I just kind of thought, yeah, that's probably something that I don't want to attempt doing by myself. He was just upfront about it. He says, honey, I have no interest in growing flowers. And he's always said, if I can't eat it, I don't want to grow it. And that's true. And I respect that. He's just being honest, and I appreciate and honor his opinion and his willingness to do this. So Chelsea is in school full-time, and she is pursuing her master's, and eventually she will be going into a doctorate program in psychology. She is, and she will not mind me sharing with you that she has been diagnosed a couple of years ago. She was diagnosed with high-functioning autism, and she is very ADHD. All of us are, except for Huey. I don't know if he is or not. He acts like he is sometimes. But ADHD, comes with its own challenges. And that's one of the reasons that we bounce around from idea to idea. We eventually get everything done that we intended to. It just takes longer than some of y'all want it to, because we get distracted easily. But it's interesting. Life stays interesting that way. But Chelsea told me just recently she's working. She was working full-time. She said, Mom, I'd like to be able to back down to part-time while I'm trying to do school full-time. And she says, if you're interested in having a partner, she had the biggest interest for her is the mushrooms. For me, the biggest interest is the cut flowers. So I said, okay, I will help you with the mushrooms if you will help me with the cut flowers. And we will make a go of having this little farm come into, a business venture for us that we can manage. It's not going to be so big that we can't do it just the two of us, but it's going to be big enough to kind of meet, the financial goals that we both have. And I'm excited about it. I've always, since I went to the Mother Earth News Conference, probably about 6 years ago, it might have been 7 years ago, it was after Jared passed, because it was a excruciatingly painful time. I wanted to go because that's something he had always talked about doing, was going to the Mother Earth News Conference over in Asheville. So Hugh and I decided that we were just going to go, and so we went. And so everything was, a reminder of Jared. Being there was hard, but it was also a wonderful, encouraging time. So that's when I had gone to the Lisa Mason Ziegler's classes and had first come in contact with the idea of flower farming. And it was so exciting. It was so exciting. And I just wasn't in a position to be able to do that, because we didn't actually move back over here until 2018. And I was still taking care of my mother full time. She lived with us. And then Hugh had his stroke in 2020. And so then I was taking care of Hugh full time. And then my mother-in-law passed in 2021. My sister-in-law passed in 2022. We switched houses. We were living in the little house across the road where Chelsea is living now. And my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law were living here. And after my mother-in-law passed, my sister-in-law asked if we would trade houses with her, which the little one across the road was Alpha's anyway. And would we trade houses with her, because this one was just way too big for her. There was too many repairs that needed to be done, and she didn't like the odd sounds that she heard all the time. So yes, we were very happy to do that. But you can imagine, these past few years have been just filled with all kinds of drama, all kinds of sadness, all kinds of setbacks, and yet all kinds of encouragement. So we are encouraged now to be setting out on this brand new journey of flower farming, mushroom growing, propagating plants for a nursery. Chelsea's in school full time. I'm getting ready to set up my studio and gallery. Hugh is getting ready to start working on my old Jeep. That was Jared's old Jeep, and that's something he always loved doing prior to his stroke, but I think that he's ready to tackle that now. So he's going to restore the old Jeep. And the building, over there in the sawmill shed, you know which building I'm talking about. I'll show you that in another time. But where that old sawmill shed is, the end that has my Jeep in it currently, the Jeep is going to be coming down here to this end, this bottom side, closest to me, of the barn. He's turning that into like a makeshift garage. And where the Jeep sits now, I'm going to turn into an aviary, because an aviary is exactly what I need before I can get a little female peacock for Ferdinand. And peacocks, several types of birds, but peacocks specifically, have to mark. They have to imprint on an area, or the area has to imprint on them. I'm not sure how that works. But she will have to be closed in the aviary for at least 2 months. And then she can come out and she will be at home there, and she will not have to be closed into an area like that again. But that's what we had to do when we first brought Ferdinand and Isabella here, when Aaron brought them here. And so, and I may get several little peahens, because Ferdinand would be happy to have his own little harem, I'm certain. But it just depends on where I can find them and what their cost will end up being. But and Chelsea and I also will be going. We're not doing this all at once. So please, y'all don't yell at me and say you're taking on too much. I'm not. We'll be very careful at how we grow things, how we expand. We'll start out small, and then we'll expand over time as we evaluate how much we can take on. But we will be raising honeybees all along this fence line. You can see the bear tore up Hugh's little beehive that he had built a couple of years ago, and so I have some blueprints for making some nice hives, and so that's something that hopefully this coming winter we'll be doing, is making hives and just slowly build the honeybees. But we have along this fence right here, we'll have enough room for, gosh, probably 20-30 hives. If we want to put them side by side, we can or not. But the nice thing is that right here they catch the morning sun, which is important for a beehive because the morning sun comes up over there, and then this line of trees will give them shade from the evening sun so that their hives just don't get too hot. And that's important also. So this is actually just a perfect spot for our honeybees to be. And then we'll be having, along that fence over there, I'm going to plant all sorts of early, just things that's not specifically for people food, but that will be more for just early foraging for bees. Things that will bloom quickly and early. I know that the mountain mint is one of those things. So we may have lots of mint all the way down this fence line. And I have 3 sprigs that I planted last year. I haven't looked over here, but I hope that they're doing well, and they will spread. They will put out their little roots underground and come up all over the place. But probably some butterfly milkweed and maybe some elderberry, all different types of things that will give my little honeybees a good start in the spring. Of course, I don't think the elderberry bloom all that early. They're a little bit later, so I'll have to do some research and put things out that will bloom early. And so yeah, I am very much beginning to get my energy back after that last bout of COVID. Hugh and I went and had our booster about a month ago. You can hear me. I'm still breathy, still have a hard time getting a good breath, but I am not really certain whether that's because, let me move this log. I'm not really certain whether that's because of the COVID or whether it's because I just still need to get so much weight off. But either way, and this fence probably also covered with raspberries and blackberries and whatever, because you can see there's a bunch right there. We'll just keep them cut down every spring, and they'll be coming back, or every fall, and they'll be coming back full bore, as Hugh says, in the spring. I hear, it sounds like ducks down there in that ditch. You hear them? I don't know. I might have a mama duck over there laying. Of course, the ducks, they can't be contained. They fly and go wherever they want, whenever they want. But I want to show you one more thing. It's breezy out here today. Jared and Aiden worked with Aaron last week. up at the master woodworker's place. And I think he's going up there again this week to work. But he's enjoying the work especially right now because it's allowing him to get some money put aside for his trip to Europe this summer. That's so exciting for him. Okay, now, we talked about, I told y'all about doing all the raised beds over here on this side. I've changed my mind on that also because, let me take you over here and show you something. When Hugh and I moved to the back, and that's going to be at least a year before we do that, because he's cut the wood for the floor in the back. So the back will have hardwood floor put in. We'll be doing that ourselves. But this area will no longer be my dog lot. This area is going to be totally garden, probably mostly a perennial garden, and all kinds of raised beds. The whole thing will be filled with raised beds. The walnut tree will be going. And right here you can see this is the north side of the house. This is the perfect place to have my to build my propagation boxes. And because propagation boxes need to be on the north side of a building. And it just occurred to me the other day that that will work perfect. It will work absolutely perfect. I won't have to worry about the plants ever getting burnt. That's where the propagation boxes will be. And this whole area will be filled with all types of raised beds. How exciting. I am just super, super geeked over this. That thought just came to mind just a day or two. You can see how muddy along the edge where my doggies run. Hugh keeps bringing me little piles of sawdust over, and I've got most of it spread up there around the porch, and down the edge of the fence I've got to spread it out, but I've got to have him bring some for this area so that hopefully we can get some of the mud off their feet before they come in. But over here on this side is where the dog lot will be, because they will be coming out on that porch and coming down. And I might extend it down a little bit and give them just a little bit. Of course, it's a pretty good sized dog lot, but I might extend it that direction a little ways since we'll be taking the fence down, or not. It's really big enough. My dudes are mostly old, and they really don't come outside a lot. So I just need to just put the wooden fence up around, which is what I intend to do. And yay, that's kind of all of my crazy old new news. Oh gosh, I can hear some of y'all now. Patty, you're crazy. You're a nut bucket. And you would be right. But that's okay. That makes life interesting. And I just wanted to tell y'all what's going on, what the new plans are, and if you want to. Uh-oh, I've got a chicken over there on my side-by-side. I wonder what she thinks she's doing. That green Jeep right there in the end, that's the one I'm talking about. Hugh's going to take it down and put it in the end of the barn, and then that whole section right there where the green Jeep's at will just be a great big aviary. Aaron has some like plastic netting that he was telling me about that I'll cover the walls with all the way around, and it will be a big area. I mean, it will be probably like 20 by 30, 20 by 40 maybe. So it's not like she's going to be closed into a teeny tiny little area by herself. And like I said, I'm hoping that I can get maybe 3 little peahens. So they'll all be in there together for a few months, and then they'll be they'll be turned loose to come out here, and and then Ferdinand will have like kind to flirt with, and he won't have to just flirt with anything that has feathers. Of course, Hugh tells me, he says, honey, he doesn't just flirt with feathery things. He said he flirts with the tractor. He flirts with he flirts with everything. So Ferdinand is just a Romeo. He just wants to flirt with the world. But anyway, I hope this finds you all in a beautiful, beautiful, happy mood today, that you're feeling well and health is just abundant in your life and those you love, and that you're looking forward to this springtime growing season. We have more to do than we can get done in probably the next few years, but we'll plug away at it, and I'm going to not add anything else to the list. I'm just going to go with what we're doing now. Hugh's been cutting the lumber for the bird lot, and the bird lot is high on the priority list. Chelsea's going to help me over here also. There comes Chuck. I don't know what he's up to. But we've got to get this bird lot closed in to keep the chickens out of everything that we're growing this year, because they're boogers, and they think that it's important for them to scratch and dig everywhere. But I think that their area will be big enough. It won't be as big as they're used to, but that's okay. I'm going to make them plenty of little things in here to keep them entertained. The little boxes with all the seed in it will go right along the edge of this fence all the way down, and then all the way down that way, and there'll constantly be something growing. There's going to be just things growing all over the place in here, just to give them plenty of hidey holes and lots to munch on. All right, folks, I love you much, and I'll talk to you soon. They're still asleep. Bye-bye.